What's up? My name's Royce. Welcome to my channel where I talk about all things Unreal Engine. And today we're talking about creating your own custom project templates in Unreal Engine 5.6. I have 5.6 open right now. You can see here the new templates that they have here, the new third-person template and everything. If we scroll down, I've actually created my own custom project category. And if we open it, you'll see here my own custom project template that I named character design. I do a lot of projects with MetaHuman, so I wanted to create a template that I can just open up that already had some assets that I can do to help design and create the MetaHumans that I want to use in my projects. And now I'm going to show how you guys can do it as well. But if you're somebody who prefers reading over watching the video, you can go to Epic Games' own documentation to see how to create your own custom templates. I'll leave a link down in my description so you guys can check that out. It may look a little confusing. It's actually not as hard as this may seem. You just have to be very precise in what you're doing. But if you prefer to follow along, then follow along. First thing we're going to want to do is actually create a project that we would want to turn into a template. And like I said, I created one that's meant to be a character design template for my MetaHuman. So I'm just going to show you how I did that. You may have other uses for it, so you don't necessarily have to follow along and do exactly what I do. And if you're using Unreal Engine on a Mac, you could still watch this tutorial. I'm actually going to break down certain steps that are a little bit different on Mac, but showing you how you can get the same results. But just an upfront disclaimer, since this is about creating a MetaHuman Creator project, at this time, MetaHuman Creator does not work in the Mac version of Unreal Engine 5.6. Hopefully it will in the future, but right now it won't. So just keep that in mind. And so first thing, I'm going to open up Unreal Engine 5.6 and I want to create a basic project. And I'm actually going to utilize, I'm going to go down here to games, utilize the third person template. I don't know why, I just like to use the third person template just in case if I need something that's in there. And then I'm going to choose my file destination. And what I've done on my drive, I just created a default folder, which I put all of like the blank bare bone projects that I do before I build them out. So I'll choose that and I'm going to label this TP. And the reason I do that is all the project templates, which you'll see a little bit later, start with TP. So I do that TP underscore character design. And then I'm going to hit create. It's going to create that project. Let that load up. Okay. So now we have Huey 5.6 open. This is the third person character template. And I know I'm going to be working with MetaHuman. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit, plugins, type in MetaHuman, and just activate all of the MetaHuman plugins like this. Hit yes. Cool. And then hit restart. Let that boot back up. All right. So now we know that this is going to be good to go with all our MetaHuman stuff when we start importing. Now, the next thing is I want to actually migrate some assets over to that project. So I'm going to lower that, reopen the Epic Games Launcher, go over to my library, and then I'm going to search MetaHuman lighting. So this right here, if you don't already have this, I'm going to click on it to open it up in Fab. If you don't already have it, search this in Fab, MetaHuman lighting. It's free from Epic Games. Go ahead and add that to your library. It has these really nice maps with different types of lighting where you can test the way your character looks. And, you know, it's geared towards MetaHuman. So I use this a lot for all my stuff. So that's why I just decided I use it all the time. Let me just make a template that includes it from the get-go. And once you add it to your library, then search it here in the Epic Games Launcher. And it's going to create its own full project. You can't just add the assets straight into the project you're working on. Unfortunately, you have to create your own separate project. So go ahead and hit create project, and that's going to download the project file, and then it'll be good to go. I've already done this a bunch of times. So I have here MetaHuman lighting all ready to go, 5.6. I'm going to double click that. Okay, let me minimize that. This is fine. Dismiss all this, not important. So you can see here, this is one of their maps that are open. If you go down here on the left side, under all the content, go to the maps folder, MHC lighting presets, you do ray tracing, non-ray tracing, double click. This one right now that's open is the portrait map, as you can see here. But then they also have red lantern, moonlight, fireside, things like that. So it's a lot of different lighting scenarios that you can put your characters in to see what they look like. So it's really cool. So now all we're going to do is we're going to go to the content folder right up here, right click, go up to migrate, click that, just say, okay, everything should be selected, hit okay. So then we're going to navigate to our project file. our TP underscore character design project file that we created, find that, which for me is under Unreal Engine projects 5.6, my default folder, TP underscore character design. Then we're going to click on the content folder. And then from here, hit select folder, and it's going to migrate all of these maps and everything to our project. So now that's done. Minimize this, open up our character design project. Cool. And so now on the left side here, we can see we have those lighting maps. So I can click here, portrait, boom. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit edit, and I'm going to go to project settings. On the left side under project here, I'm going to go to maps and modes, and then make sure that my portrait lighting one is selected. This is the main one that I like to use. If you want to use a different map, you can. But I'm going to go here under editor startup map. I'm going to click this button here. That's going to set that portrait lighting map as our default startup map when we open this project. And for the game default map, I'll just do it for that as well. So every time we open this project, it will start on this map instead of the third person template map that we saw in the beginning. Now, make sure everything's saved, and let's hit close. All right, so now that we have created our project, it's now time to turn that project into a template. So what we're going to need to do is in our file browser, we're going to go to the location of that project. So my default folder, character design here, and I'm just going to copy that, Control C. Next, I'm actually going to locate where the official Unreal Engine 5.6 is installed on my computer. So for me, I'm going to go to this PC, click on my local disk, go to Program Files, scroll down to Epic Games, and then UE 5.6. This is where it's going to be if you just went ahead and just installed it and didn't do any customizing on the location on where you want it. If you chose a different location to wherever you installed it, just find it and do the same thing that I'm doing here. UE 5.6, double click on that, and we'll see a folder called templates. So we're going to double click on that. And these are all the templates that you see when you open up the engine. And you see they all start with that TP underscore. And that's why we named it the way we named it. So now what we want to do is just hit paste. And that's going to paste our project in the templates folder. And there we go. Then on Mac, it's a little bit different. What you're going to do is go to Macintosh HD. Now, of course, this is assuming that you've installed Unreal Engine straight to your internal drive and not anywhere else. But if you did, you go to Macintosh HD, go to Users, Shared, Epic Games, UE 5.6, and Templates. And here's everything here, all the template folders. And then you'll copy your template project that you just created in here. And you would think, all right, that's all we need to do. No, there's a couple more things that we need. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up two tabs right over here. And I'm going to navigate right back to my local disk, Program Files, Epic Games, 5.6, Templates. So now we're going to have to copy some files into our project file that will help Unreal Engine register this as a template. Okay, so now in this first tab, I'm going to open up the third-person template file. In my second tab, I'm going to have my character design template file open here so I can easily go back and forth because we're going to be copying a few things. But first, we're going to go into our config folder in our own project, TP character design project folder here. Go into config and go to default game file right here. Open that up. If you see here, you'll see some stuff. The only thing you need to care about is this thing right here that says project name. This is what's going to be displayed when you open Unreal Engine for the first time and you see all of those templates. This is what the name of the template is actually going to be in that window. So now we'll just name that whatever we want it to be. I'll do character design, or I could put character design template, and now close that. And that's all we need to do there. The only thing is on the Mac, opening up one of these files for the first time, so you're gonna have to choose an application that can open the files. And the app that does that is just look for text edit. And then once you do that, you'll be able to open it just fine and modify everything that you need to. But if we go to third person, go to config, default game, we open that up, we'll see it's called the third person game template. And also you don't have to use the third person folder. You can use any of the templates. That's just the one I like to use. So now we're going to want to copy this file right here, template defs, hit Control C, and then go back to your project under the config folder and hit Control V, paste that. Then we're going to open it and we see a lot of stuff written. But what matters first here is the categories. This is, as it states, the category that this template is going to be put in. So this is now set to games, which is fine. We'll leave that there for now, but we'll change that a little bit once we create our own template category. Then the next thing is localized display names right here. This is going to be the name of your template. So right now it says third person. So we're going to highlight that and change it to character design. Okay, so next, localized descriptions. This is going to be the actual description of the template. And you can write in here whatever you want. You can get as detailed or as basic as you want, especially if it's just for you. You know, no one else is using this template. You don't really have to get that detailed. I already had mine written out. I'm going to go to one of my older templates and just copy my description from there. Cool. And if you scroll down here, there's a bunch of other stuff. It's not important. So we're going to pretend like it doesn't exist. Now, if we go back to our template project folder over here, let's back up one and then go into the main section. Now, if we go back to that third person template folder, there's one other folder we want to copy, and this is media. And if we open up here, these are the preview images that are displayed on your template project when you're selecting it. Now, you don't need to do this, but if you want, just to give it that nice little finished touch, but if you want to, just know that each image has to be named the exact same name of your project file. And what I did is I created my own because I like to have that, you know, extraness to it. And they're both different sizes. And how I handled that was I pretty much just opened the template images in Photoshop and screenshotted things that I wanted and then just resized it to fit both of these. So what I can do is I will also include these images for you guys in a link that you guys can download just so you can use for now, and then you can create your own just so you don't have to look at a blank template when you're done creating. Plus, it's just good practice to be able to do it right now in the moment. So whether you created your own or downloaded mine, I'm just gonna now copy these two, go back to my project folder here and create a new folder, call that media, and paste those two in there. Now, just so you know, for the landscape photo here, you have to put the same name of your project template plus underscore preview for this one right here. So that's the only difference between these two. So just remember to do that. Okay, so now with that, let's test it, make sure everything is working. So we're going to Unreal Engine 5.6. We're going to hit launch. If we go under games, we will see our template. Nice. We did it. We see our character design, our description here, and we got our photos. So yeah, this is that longer landscape one right there and our little thumbnail one here. Now the next step, we will create our own custom template category. So let's close this and we will head back to our main character design folder here. And then on this first tab, we're going to back out of the third person template folder. We actually don't need that anymore. And instead, under the main templates folder in Unreal Engine 5.6, we're going to scroll all the way down to template categories. And we see all the categories here that are available. So what we're going to want to do is take any of them. I'll just take this last one here, highlight it all, Control Copy, Enter, Control V, and just paste. And then under categories key right here, we're just going to change the name. This isn't the full name. This is going to be the short name that we give it, that we actually will assign to our project template. So I'm going to put CP because I'm going to call it Creative Projects. And then now if we go under localized display names, under text right here, simulation, we'll change that to Creative Projects. Now, one more thing. This is very important. You cannot forget to do this if you want a preview thumbnail to also be displayed. At the bottom here, under icon, we're going to have to point to an image that we want it to display. And first, we're going to have to get an image. So same thing that I did, I just went up here at the very top of the templates folder. There's a master media folder. If we click that, these are all the template category images that you'll see. I did the same thing. I just opened up one of them in Photoshop, threw the image that I wanted in there, cropped it so it fit the size, and I was good to go. So I'll show that one right here, Creative Projects. So now I'm just going to drag that into this folder. And again, I will supply these so you guys can download just to have for your own use case. And I didn't mean to drag, it's actually copy and paste. Always copy and paste. I used the same naming convention. I did Creative Projects _ 2x. Why? That's just what they were all named. So I just did the same. Then we're going to go back to the template categories file, go back down here under icon. We're going to want to keep media because that's where we're pointing it to, the media file. But then under here, we're just going to change the name to our actual thumbnail name, Creative Projects _ 2x.png. And just double check the spelling because if anything's off, it will not work. So now we're going to go back to our character design template folder, go back to that config folder and our template defs file. And up here, the category games, we're going to change it to not the full name of our custom category, but that short one, that nickname we gave it, categories CP. Remember down here, the key right here, CP. That's what we're going to want to change it to. Because if we go up here to games, even though the actual category is called games, they just kept it games for whatever reason. They shortened the other ones. Film and video is ME, AEC, MFG, Sim for simulation. So we just did CP for creative projects. Now, so let's go back to the launcher, hit launch in 5.6. And now on the left, it worked. We now have our custom category called Creative Projects. And there it is, our character design template. And you can see here, we have it running on Mac as well. Creative Projects, character design, and we can start from there. We did it, or did we? Let's create a project just to make sure everything opens and runs smoothly. So this is already set to the default folder that I want. And I'm just gonna put template test. Hit create. And look at that, it opened. We already know the assets are in here because it opened up to our default portrait lighting map that we wanted. And we see here, everything is here. All our maps. Still got our third person character in here as well. We still have all that if we want to utilize it. But now we don't have to worry about migrating and doing all this over and over and over. Whenever we create a new project, we now have a template to work off of. So now we can go create our metahumans, throw them in our lighting maps, make sure everything looks good, and go from there. And that's it. You just created your own custom template project and template category. I really hope you guys found this video helpful. If so, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'll link the actual Epic Games documentation in there so you can check that out. And until next time, I'll catch y'all later.